everyone, and welcome. Today we have a new showcase that actually came out yesterday. We have a showcase for Augusta. Very exciting stuff. She is coming out on phase 1, which is going to be in about 3 days, I do believe, actually. So, is it 3 days? It's this Thursday for me. So it kind of depends, depending on your time zone, sorry. It might be Wednesday night for you, depending on where you live. Anyway, let's jump into this and see what she has to show us. Nice animation. I like those so much, bro. Ooh, Karazor, hello. Dang, look at that. I hate those guys. I hate them so bad. It's so annoying to fight.
All the sun touches is ours to fight for.
Indeed. That's a big ass sword.
Pathetic struggle. Unmatched.
This animation is so sleek.
Undying glory.
That is cool, dude.
Stand tall before the eternal sun. My valor never fades.
Damn, that is so cool. There it is. They did a specific.
And should the tide of fate stir once more, she will raise this sword and blaze through the night as
Damn, the chills! The chills! Ah, that's it. That ends so abruptly. I love they actually did like a special, this is like the throat of sword. Anyway, very cool. I'm not gonna lie, originally I really didn't like a weapon, but like knowing the reason, like the lore reason why she has that weapon, and it's actually like, she took all the weapon of every single person that she's defeated and melted it into her own weapon through the use of her magnetic powers from her forte is actually super badass. So like this massive piece of slab is actually like 100 weapons fused together. That's actually crazy. That's why when she attacks, sometimes it separates into multiple small sword, so she can control them like that. So when she does like a slam down, you can see that like it's spread into multiple sword. Like right there, where she does that swing, for example, too. You can see those are all the individual sword kind of spreading outside of it through her magnetism, and then they're gonna be pulled back into her massive sword. Very cool. Anyway, this is very exciting. I'm hyped. I still don't know if I'm gonna pull for her. I might drop like 10 or maybe 20 pulls. I'm not sure, because I really want Yuno more than her. Maybe I'll try to get her on a rerun or something. Yeah, this is a cinematic. We had other posts about her too, on their the patch here, their website, sorry. And they kind of give some story, right? The finder of lost property, Augusta's responsibility may not be among the most impressive on the battlefield. It has proved immensely useful when it comes to finding lost property. Scissors, fountain pen, drawer keys, they all tumble out of hidden nooks and crannies as Augusta paces the room. Deep in thought, before long, a medley of lost and found knick-knacks cling to her dress. Broken paper clips, a solitary metallic button, and lo and behold, a soup spoon. Snack time! The F-Race Palace is perched atop Captain Hill, right below the flight path of grief rexes flying to and from the Sanguis plateaus. Young grief rexes, not knowing any better, sometimes find their way into the conference room through open windows, playing around like they own the place and resting under the long tables when tired. Grief rexes are one of the most treasured echoes in Septimont. Even the nobility, who are used to having people at their beck and call, wouldn't presume to have one tossed out. As the elders drone on, Augusta takes out the snack she kept hidden, and without anyone being any the wiser, feeds it to the Griffrexes under the table. One day, a young Griffrex caught the scent of food and got overexcited. It jumped onto the table, interrupting the interminable speech that had gone on for far too long. Augusta sat back, looking on as the eldest scrambled to restore order in the conference room. On her face was a ghost of a smile. Aw, adorable. Morning routine! Augusta has a full head of natural curls, which wouldn't be a nuisance if not for her resonance ability. The accidental electro discharges do not agree with either her hair or the pillows it rests on at night. Augusta sometimes thinks about skipping her morning routine to get a head start on business for the day. But that's not possible as her assistant never fails to remind her, Your Excellency, if I may be so bold as to impress upon you the importance of public image. Augusta has no choice but to spend a few harried minutes in front of the mirror trying to subdue her unruly hair. With varying degrees of success, no matter how hard she tries, a few strands still jut from the top of her head, proclaiming their triumph for the world to see. That's adorable. A lousy actor, Augusta often takes time out of her busy schedule to visit the orphanage that houses children of gladiators who died in the Dark Tide. She was an orphan too. The children don't know her name or where she comes from. They see her only as a big sister who laughs and plays with them. Their favorite game is called Hero of Heroes versus Tacit Discord. They all want to be the hero of heroes, as does Augusta, but she never lets her wish be known, for nothing warms her heart more than the happy smiles on the children's faces. In the most recent game, Augusta finally got to be the hero of heroes, not because she's a grown-up, not because it's her turn, but because she was lousy at playing at Tacit Discord. You're not a convincing bad guy, they laugh. You don't know how to act evil. Aww. And here we have a resonance evaluation report. Extracted from something Aegon Participant Physical Report. Okay. Named Augusta, the contender's resonance history dates back to her early childhood, nearly concurrent with her age. It is speculated that she is a congenital resonator. So, born with it, right? Contender's Augusta's tacit mark is located on the back of her left hand. Upon activation, she can generate and manipulate a magnetic field with a radius of approximately 10 meters, centered around herself. With increasing mastery of her forte, she can fully control and reshape materials such as iron, cobalt, and nickel. However, based on both personal testimony and test data, the forte appears to have reached its development ceiling, with the 10-meter radius marking its practical upper limits. A rare congenital resonator, but the forte offers little more than minor support in combat. And remarkable might be the most fitting word for it. For someone like her to stand out in Aegon, that's about as likely as the sun rising at midnight, pure fantasy. From a medical examiner's note. Well, joke's on you. The tacit mark branded on the back of her hand since childhood was both a gift from her above and a cruel joke. A feeble forte once bound her like shackles, but now she has long since melted the chains away. Step by step she climbs the stair to the throne, proving to all that even one born of dust can shine with the brilliance of a blazing sun. Absolute cinema. Alright, A4's past annual medical report access verified overclock diagnostic report. The subject's waveform graph shows elliptical fluctuations, the time domain pattern is regular, and no sign of abnormal fluctuations are observed. The test results fall within the normal phase range. Resonant criticality, the subject has a minimal risk of overclocking. Based on waveform intensity, overclocking potential is also ruled out. Records indicate no history of overclocking, and psychological counseling is currently deemed unnecessary. Every time we do this, it feels like checking your height to the grown woman, which is a bit awkward. When it gets to the physical test, you never fail to surprise. Well, more like shock whoever designed the test equipment. Is that so? Very cool! Appearance! Awe-inspiring leader. Augusta stands in the howling wind on the mountaintop, tall and sharp like the blade she wields, her eyes burning like a midday sun. She was forged in fire and blood, all sharp edges and no nonsense. She never looks back, her gaze firmly set on what's to come. The sunburst radiance. Augusta's headwear is in the shape of a sunburst. Ever radiant in the heat of combat, she devotes herself to Septimon's heart and soul. She lives for Septimon and is willing to defend its glory to the last. The golden armor. Augusta wears a tailored suit of armor with smooth, precise lines. When the sun strikes its surface, its brilliance evokes lightning in the dark. The armor is far from decorative. It's not an attempt to hide her weaknesses, but a symbol of her unshakable will, a silent statement of her determination to accomplish what she's meant to do. Damn. Anecdote. Ooh, a cherished item. The seal of Sun and Griffin. The stone used to craft this seal was quarried from the very mountains where Septimon's ancestors first set foot. Smooth and resilient, its pure white surface bears winding patterns carved by time itself, an indelible mark of history etched into the land. Adorning the seal are a griffin and a sun, both forged from precious metals. The former represents valor and vision, while the latter represents eternity and glory. The small seal carries the hopes and dreams of Septimon's founders, a constant reminder to its bearer not to forget the resolve that began it all. Augusta still remembers the feel of it at her fingertips when she held it for the first time. It was cold yet tinged with a quiet heat, the heat of power. She knows well that behind that power lies more than just honor. The seal, though light enough to be tossed in the air, rests heavy in the palm, like the weight upon the shoulders, a burden that cannot be cast off. Jesus. From the height of the Everest Palace, one can overlook the entire city of Septimont. Whenever I finish my duties, I enjoy climbing up the rooftop to feel the wind. At times, Griffrexes returning from the Sanguis Plateau soar above the palace. I listen to their cries, eyes tracing their wings as they sweep across every inch of Septimont's land. A land that we and our forebears reclaim from the jaws of calamity. We Septimontians rarely dwell on the pain of struggle, for we understand that the road to victory is never smooth, and I will carry this glorious legacy forward. It's the promise I make to our people, and to this land that burns with pride. So that was her hobby. Her story, this great sword is forged from the blades of countless gladiators. You may have heard its tale. At first I took those swords to spare the defeated the crueler fates. I took the blades so they could live. I've always believed that the gladiators' blood should be shed only for the greater good of Septimont. Of course, back then I needed those blades to serve as my own fangs. Now gladiators no longer fight to the death in the Colosseum, and I no longer need a sword to prove myself. Yet somewhere along the way, this weapon became part of me, fused with my very flesh and blood. It bears witness to who I was, and shapes who I must become. Damn. Thoughts. Strong, that was my first impression of you. Few have ever made me think that, but you were an intriguing exception. It was then I decided, when time came, we would fight by each other's side. And as you know, I seized that opportunity when it came. And you can see here some of her idle animation, character menu, idle animation, the convene animation is badass. And then we can see all the animation for the ultimate. We've seen all of those like multiple times. I'm not going to go over it too much. And here there's just a profile. You can see like what you can pre-farm. It's a bit late to start pre-farming, but it is what it is. And you can see more animation, exactly how she works and all of that. I'm not going to go over that. I'm not a guide maker. I'm not a professional. And I feel like watching a guide would be probably better for you guys than watching me read all of this. So there we go. I really love those posts when they give like so much lore about the character. It is so cool. I like it a lot. And that animation at the beginning of this video was absolutely fantastic. That's a misclick. So yeah, that was great. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited? Are you pulling for her? Are you doing like me, where you just want to pull for Yuno? Personally, I'm pulling for Yuno, so I might skip Augusta's banner, and I'll pull for her on a rerun. That's probably what I'm going to go for. Anyway, leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.